Hey everyone, welcome to the first introduction to yoga with a very simple basic posture today to help you focus. So really what we're practicing in yoga is exercising your awareness and wanting to increase that awareness to enhance your experience of life. And it begins with focusing on your breath. So today you're going to be looking at a number of very simple seated postures to help you focus on your breath. And this will lead you into meditating as well. So that by focusing on your breath, you're taking your mind away from any other thoughts, maybe what you have been doing, maybe what you're going to do, maybe what you're going to have for dinner. We want to be taking our mind off all of those things in the outside world and bring all the awareness inside the body as we prepare the mind and the body for our yoga practice. The first thing you need to do is to get onto your mat. And we always say, as a yoga teacher, the hardest thing is getting on your mat. So have your mat somewhere where you like going in the house, somewhere there aren't going to be distractions and you're not going to be upsetting the routine of the household either. So once you've found a place for your mat, you must also ensure that you have free-flowing air and room, of course, to wave your arms around. So the time of the day is next. What time of the day can you practice yoga? What suits your schedule? When are you going to have a half hour or so where you can just be by yourself on your yoga mat? Let's talk about morning and night. What's better for you there? Try to stick to the same time of the day, or perhaps, one day it might be in the morning and the next day at night. That will be interesting for you because when you practice in the morning, your body's still cold. And after moving around through the day, your body is much warmer at night. So you'll experience the practice quite differently at different times of the day. Please make sure that you don't eat a good hour to an hour and a half before your yoga practice, particularly because yoga is a form of detox. So if you have food still in your stomach, your digestive system is going to be working on digesting that food rather than detoxing as it would do if your stomach was empty. So allow yourself to eat a good hour to an hour and a half before practicing yoga. If you're diabetic, it's better to have juice rather than a piece of fruit because the juice will be more readily digested, of course, before your yoga practice. Okay, so they're the factors that will determine the time of the day that you practice. And you do need to be practicing at least 2 times a week and preferably 3 for you to progress. Okay, so a place where you can regularly practice and a time where you can regularly practice first. And then getting on your mat at that time. Once you're on the mat, you're going to come into these postures you'll learn today to focus the mind and prepare the mind for your yoga practice. And in particular, we're looking at child pose today. It's a beautiful posture because it brings you into the mind of a child as though you're seeing or experiencing life for the first time. So it's almost like an innocent way of understanding your experience with yoga. We want to have this mind of innocence so that you are receptive to the feedback from your body because you're always responding to the feedback from your body while you're in the posture. But first of all, bringing the awareness to the breath. So once you do that, it's a conscious breath, or you can practice Ujjayi breathing throughout your yoga practice. And those 2 breathing techniques were demonstrated yesterday. By simply bringing awareness to your breath first, it becomes a conscious breath. And this will slow down and lengthen the breath, and it'll become a smooth, steady breath as you observe the breath coming in both nostrils and into all parts of the lungs. And with Ujjayi breathing, we're gripping the back of the throat where your epiglottis is. That's that sort of teardrop-shaped organ in the back of your throat. So you're gripping there as though like soft snoring sound. and that will regulate the flow of air in and out. Also looking for a smooth transition between the breaths, everybody, and this is the pace or the rhythm of the breath that we'll maintain throughout your practice. So with these two kinds of breathing, they calm the nervous system, and this too enables you to focus more. So focusing on the breath is going to calm the nervous system and increase your focus and allow you to have more control in the postures. Child pose is called Balasana. Bala meaning child, and asana you'll see on the end of all our postures because it actually means posture, usually a seated posture. So Balasana is child pose. And there's a very interesting story about the origins of child pose. And you can read about the origins of a lot of the postures in this particular book here, the Yoga of the Bhagavad Gita. So this is a story, it's a narrative, and it's about a character called Shiva who was born into this world as a divine entity. But he's born into a normal family and he meets normal challenges as he grows older. And what he determines and decisions he makes when he comes to those challenges teaches us more about the philosophy of yoga and how you can transform yourself to be the best version of yourself, which can be understood to be the divine version of you. So in the Bhagavad Gita, we follow the character of Shiva from when he's a small boy. And he has a brother, and in the story he's playing with the brother, and the brother's a bit mischievous and dares Shiva to eat some mud. And of course Shiva does this, as children do, and his brother goes and tells the mother, because he's a bit mischievous and he wants to get Shiva into a bit of trouble. So he tells the mother, and the mother comes and says, Shiva, is this true? Have you been eating mud? And she goes, oh, no. And his mother says, open your mouth, show me, Shiva. And when Shiva opens his mouth and the mother looks into the mouth of Shiva, she sees limitless space, like a night sky. She can see flashes of bright lights like stars, galaxies, constellations inside the body of Shiva. And we have a similar experience when we come into a child pose. As you bring the awareness into the body by following the breath in, you start to observe the limitless space within your body. And you start to get a sense of that openness inside the body. And sometimes your mind, or your mind's eye, we call it, which is observing inside the body, will register like little flashes of light. And these are understood to be almost like chemical reactions or electrical transactions taking place, probably in your brain. And your mind and your optic nerve register these little flashes of light. So it's almost like you're watching a little fireworks display inside the body sometimes. And this is understood to be parallel to the story of Shiva and how his mother observed limitless space inside this divine entity. And so we begin to understand the meaning of the universe within the body. The universe, of course, having unlimited space and unlimited potential for you to explore and to activate in yoga postures. So I hope you enjoy these variations of child pose today as you begin to tune into that space inside the body where we say that you are of the world but not in the world, as you begin to bring the awareness inside the body to practice yoga. Focusing on your breath allows you to follow the breath into the body, so the breath then becomes the bridge between the mind and the body. And we always bring the awareness back to the breath and then check you're in the posture. So I hope you enjoy experiencing these child posture variations today, which we will do at the beginning of each yoga session, because there's such a great way of enabling you to calm and focus the mind and prepare the body for your yoga practice. Thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to hearing about your response, your experience with with child pose. And I do ask you to reserve your judgment until after the practice and just exercise the process. Focus on the process for the demonstration or with the demonstration here, and reserve your judgment until after you've had a good 5-minute rest at the end of the sequence, and then just think about how you feel and think about what happened, and notice what those thoughts are after the practice. Okay, everyone, I'll speak to you soon, and namaste.